All right. All right. Welcome everybody, those who are here and also those watching the replay. We're going to talk about branding today. Our winner, Rose Knows Bookkeeping, has won the branding kit. So we're going to focus on her business and talk about what she has now and give you some ideas. I also have a checklist that you can use that we're going to go through so we know exactly what we need, what we should be focusing on for our colors, and all that kind of thing. So this is her current website. And I I've seen, I know Rose from a networking group, and last week she actually had a background, a Zoom virtual background with her logo, and it looks really cute. So there's definitely some really cool things about her logo. But I'm going to show you kind of some ways that she can tweak things to make it look a little bit better. So this is her current website. If you need bookkeeping, be sure to reach out to her. So I'm going to show you my website just to give you the whys on what I did. So something that we're going to be creating today and learning how to create is this little logo up here. When people hover over the tabs, people might have lots of tabs open. And you want them to know how to get back to your website. And so you always want to have what's called a favicon. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it. So you want this little image that people know it's you. And so I've got my little person check mark as my like logo, what I would put up there. So Rose would have, a rose up there. So I'm going to kind of show you, and we'll get into what that might look like. And then as far as colors go, that teal turquoise that I have, that's definitely one of my colors. It's my brightest color. So I use that a lot as like an action color is what I call them. It can be kind of fun. It's something that pops, and that's another way you can get kind of creative. And you can also get away if you kind of like something obnoxious a little bit, like a lime green, or a yellow or a red. Sometimes it's better to use those really bold and powerful colors as more of like that action color. And so I've got my blue, I've got some purple. And then I've got that teal is basically what I use. So, and then this is just another example of another website. And you've got this logo. It's kind of known for this logo. And then this is the action colors, more of that yellow. I guess it's kind of played in there. I guess it might be opposite the way that this one's done. Usually you'd have maybe the black, and then this might be the pop of yellow if that's what you wanted, but you just kind of have to play around with your colors. This one's got kind of a lot to work with because it's that rainbow. So you kind of have to think about what colors you want to work with and then play with them however you like. Like when I was designing this website, I didn't know that I would like this yellow. A lot of yellows are, again, kind of obnoxious and like they can hurt your eyes, but I like that this one was a bit, I don't know, it's softer but it stands out and I really like it. So I incorporated it a lot in this website. Okay, I think I might have to stop sharing and share this other screen. Okay. So one of the cool things I did that I've never done before is now that we have ChatGPT, I was like, what would ChatGPT do for me? And so I told it about Rose's business, and I said, I want to do a branding kit for a client that does bookkeeping. I need 3 branding colors with like one light, one dark, and maybe a bright one. And so it gave me some options. Which was, it'll do that for you. And then I know too that she really likes, I wanted one that included green because I know that Rose likes green and bookkeeping, money, that all makes sense. And so they did that for me. And then I was like, okay, that's great, but her name is Rose. Can we have a logo that has a rose in it? And I had never used ChatGPT to create an image before. And so that was my first time. So I just wanted to show you what it came up with. And I thought that that was really cool. And so So I was like, okay, let's work with this, but it spells her name wrong. So this is just AI, you got to take it for what it is. And so I think I gave it again, well, Rose Knows Bookkeeping LLC, and then also her tagline. And so then it came up with this one, and I do like that image. It's a little like the colors kind of blur. It's not very clear, and it might be really hard like to take that logo and if you want to have something embroidered, you have to think about all those details, like how like the current one that she has, it would be really easy to have that embroidered on something. It's a little really easy to have that as a favicon. This would be easy too. We could definitely do that. But the fonts are kind of funky and all. But again, with ChatGPT, I thought it was interesting. So I just wanted to show you that in case you need it to maybe do some brainstorming, anything like that. So I went into Canva and I actually played around with it and I took that image from ChatGPT and I removed the background and then I came up with fonts that were similar to that just to clean it up. Just to kind of show you, we're gonna do another logo today live. Um, but so just have fun with it. If you're gonna create your own logo too, I would just suggest like making sure you have time, you're feeling creative. Definitely go into Canva. If you can maybe do like the free trial if you don't already have a paid subscription, I think you might find that really helpful. I'm not sure exactly what they have for free. I've had the paid version for so long. But yeah, so you can kind of get an idea and play with it. Something cool that I'll be showing you today if you don't have Canva or Canova a lot, is they do have a background remover, so you can use that and kind of manipulate the images. So this is again her current logo, and so I just wanted to show you if you go to edit and then that background remover. So that could, give us the favicon image, but what's really hard is how light it is. I don't know that that would show up very well as an image unless maybe we put like some black, like a black circle behind it. You could get creative with doing something like that. Okay, so, but in general, we would just hop into here if you're just gonna create a logo. Let's see. Let's actually create a brand new design. And they do have a logo. If it doesn't pop up in there, just type it in. So we're just going to click on logo and just start fresh because that's probably what most people are going to do. And then I've created this, and I'll send this out, this link, so you can just make a copy of it and use it for when you're doing your logo and branding. So you'll have this checklist. So we're going to choose our color palette. So we're going to choose 3 different colors. So again, a light color, a dark color, and then a bright color. And then we're going to create our logo. And then we're going to want to have that logo in different formats. So you want a light version, a dark version, and then you also want a favicon image. And then, so we'll create all of those. You can make sure you have a headshot if you want one. I actually was using this checklist from something else. So I don't think we'll need the headshot here, but yeah. Let me get back over to logos. Okay. So it knows that you're trying to create a logo. And make sure it was on the right screen. And it knows me, and I've been searching for bros as my template, so that's why those came up. But in here, it knows that you want to design a logo. So if you did bookkeeping, I didn't like any of these. Kind of nothing that looked like Rose Knows Bookkeeping. So I went ahead, knowing she also wants a rose to be her main image. It does have more options. So you can just kind of scroll down. Usually when I'm creating a logo too, I'll pick multiple images and just play around with it and then kind of decide on the one that I like the most. And there was one. Like this one kind of looks similar to what she already has. So is this one here. So you can play around with what it says and just kind of see how that looks. Then we could replace her tagline here, um, as like the full logo, and then play around with the colors. So I think we'll go ahead and pick this one. And as you can see too, it's nice when, especially if you're designing it yourself, you're going to have more options for changing out the colors. Because sometimes you're going to want like a white logo that, is on a black dark background or something. Sometimes websites you can have them be dark or light. You just want to have different options. So when you're designing it yourself, or if you do hire somebody to do branding kit for you, you want to make sure they're going to provide all those different options for you. But like these colors, we definitely don't want those. It doesn't fit her branding. So we'll just change them up. So let me go back. So she has her tagline is turning numbers into insights. So I'm just going to copy that and bring that over. And then you can play around with that. Maybe we want it just really long. And then for colors, I know she likes, let's go back. I always struggle with the zoom things. Okay. So let me go. It'll just, there we go. So I do like her colors. She's got that dark emerald green and then this lighter version of it too. So if she wanted, she could just do, the emerald and then have this other color. And then unless, for roses, she definitely could do like a yellow as like a pop, just thinking about like rose colors that would go. I think, yellow would probably go with that. What I like to do also is pull the colors, and I like to put them in circles. So what you can do is that you grab the circle and then you go up to the color. And then if you add a color or click on add a color, oh, not yet. Never mind about that. So photo colors, this is what we want first. So it pulls all the different greens, which is also kind of fun. I don't know if it has even more than that. Okay, that was just other things I've got going on that page. So this is like the dark emerald one. And if you hover, it does show you what that is. And then I think now if we go back up here, I just copy this. And then if you actually just Control V, it will paste it below. Another thing you can do, let's make that bigger, is just create a whole section that just has your colors on it, and then just label it something like that. And then, so we want 3 of them. We'll grab another one of these. And then if we go back in here, and I feel like this one is really close to white. I don't know that it has much of a color to it. I'll have to think. We'll just use that for now to pull that out. So we want a dark, a light, and a bright. So maybe that can be our light. The emerald greens are dark, and then maybe we'll find a yellow. I think this is that yellow I really like. We'll see how that that might play with that. Okay. So they can be the same size. That worked. And then let's see, might be a little easier. And let's see what that yellow looks like. I think we'll use it for now, let her decide what she wants to do. And that's what's kind of cool too with branding is you can play around with it. You can change it up a little bit. Like if you designed a website and you're just, changing that one thing of like your action color where like people are hovering over it, that's a pretty easy swap. So, and I feel like it makes sense. It kind of goes together. And if you don't like it too, something you can do too is with these two colors on her current website, it's, she's got some blacks and some whites. And so those also could just play together. Yeah. Okay, so we've got those. And so what you can do with this branding checklist is just staying organized. And then if you have this, it's really easy. Like if you're hiring a website person or anything like that, or you're going in to design your website, it's super easy because you'll have everything here. So it's just like good to go and saves you a lot of time just being organized. I know sometimes for me when I'm in Canva, I can get kind of lost. So like, where did I put that? And so if you have your checklist, that can be really easy. Um, Make a note too of what the color is. So as easy as we can make things, the better. The Zoom drop down thing always gets in my way. Okay. Whoops. Okay, so let's say that's the colors that we're going to using. And if, Rose wants to just redo this with those colors, she can just change things up. There are ways we could do that, but we're going to go ahead and just create something new with these colors. So we've got those there. And so we want a light and a dark logo. So we're going to do the first one. Let's go ahead and do that dark green in the background. And then I would just make these white just so it really pops. So it can be pretty easy just to do that. And then we're just gonna do duplicate the page and then have this be we still have our dark. I think the dark one's what will work with the most. So let's go ahead and swap this. Something kind of in between just so we can see what we're doing. So just kind of creating opposites just so the branding should always look the same too on everything that you do. So you want to make sure that you're always using the same colors, the same fonts. Now let's go ahead and make this white. So dark, light. So it could just be as simple as that. And then with the fonts, what's neat too with Canva is it's gonna create fonts that work really well together. I think for this one, these are also fonts that I'll send her if she wants to use them. But I liked this. It's kind of has some personality to it with the rose nose of the Maragsa. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's easy to read, but it has, some personality. That's kind of a pet peeve of mine too. Everything needs to be easy to read. You want to make everything easy with business. People, you want to make it easy to do business with you. So you want to make sure that your fonts are really easy to read. And then I really liked the Montserrat Classic for these two because it's just easy and they pair well together. What's cool too now with ChatGPT is you can actually ask it, do these fonts pair well together? because that can be a thing. Fonts, it's like a whole language, and people have very strong opinions on font pairings. So it was neat. I was able to actually ask ChatGPT, do these pair well together? And it said yes, and why. So that was pretty cool too. So let's go ahead and also kind of steal those fonts. I think I was down here. Yes. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. And then that's something else you can do is just do your fonts here too. So we can copy that. And then if you want to make them all the same size font, you can do that. It's interesting with different fonts how the sizes can vary a lot too. And for your logo designing too, this one has a curve to it. And if you want it to do that in Canva, you just go to effects. And then you can see it's got the curve. And if we want to just remove that, which I think is good for our purposes of just knowing what our fonts are, that's pretty easy. So there's that. And then let's see if we've got a place for that. I'll go ahead and copy this. We can add this to our checklist. It doesn't look like I have fonts here, so I will add this for the spreadsheet that I send out. Copy that over. And when you're not sharing your screen on Zoom, it'll be a lot faster. And then it looks like that's kind of bolded too. Doesn't say it is, but that's another thing to think about. And there's different versions of Montserrat, and it's a very popular, just kind of a classic font that's very, yeah, just simple. Okay, so we've got that, and let's go ahead and change up our fonts on this too. So we're gonna go ahead and try and find this. And then, yeah, you just got to decide if you want it all on one line, how big you want it to be. And as long as it stays within, there's kind of a box. So I would just make sure it stays in that box so it's not too big. And then it really just depends too on what you're using it for. And let's change that other font and see how it looks. Kind of looks a little odd when it gets too big. Let's go back to effects. And we can also adjust the curve. But I think that actually looks pretty good, but this would have to just be smaller, probably more like how it was. So you just play around with it, have fun with it. And sometimes it's easier to, now that we've made these changes, to just redo the darker one. So let's do that real quick. Okay, so we've got our fonts, our colors, and our logo there. We've got our dark version. What's neat too with Canva is when you're naming the individual pages, it makes it a lot easier when you go to save them. Because if you don't fill that in, it'll just do Rose Knows Bookkeeping 1, 2, 3, 4. Like as so if you make descriptions, it makes it a lot easier. So go logo dark, logo light. And then we do want a favicon image as well. So I would definitely do this dark emerald green as the favicon image. So I'm going to go ahead and not that one. Let's do duplicate to make our lives easier. And then we're going to go ahead and put it down farther. I'm going to rename it. And we don't need any words. And then just make it bigger. So we've got that. I've actually found that I don't need specific sizes for favicons as long as they're the right like square and they're not too big. So if you need to, you might need to create a new Canva thing and have it be a 16 by 16 pixel. I think automatically it's the 200 by 200 just by default with Canva. It's pretty good at sizing things the proper size for what you're trying to do. So popular logo there. So you could download those and you're good to go for those. And I will go ahead and show you how to do the favicon just in case you come across any issues there. We've got our colors. So as you can see, like this can come together pretty fast. So let's just go ahead and make that favicon image. We're gonna go to share, download, and then you want to do a transparent background. And then we just want the one page. I guess this is easy. Okay. And then let's go ahead, create a design. And then we're just going to do 16 by 16. And doesn't let us do that. Okay, let's try 40 by 40. So that should definitely be small enough for any website builder. And then we'll go ahead and go to uploads and upload what we just downloaded. Oops. All right, so as you can see, it's pretty easy. It's definitely going to fit. And then you would just download that. Definitely make sure you do the transparent background. I mean, you don't have to, as you know, as you can see, ChatGPT has a white box behind it. So again, it's going to just depend on you and your preferences. If you want the white, you can have it. Might stick out more. Yeah, just going to take some thought. And I've got the Google Sheet and that has a green. So you can kind of visualize that too, what it would look like. And I think the green is going to look great for people too, for just knowing it's your website, it's your brand. Yeah. So that's about it. I'm gonna package all that together and email that over to Rose. Yeah, I hope you found this helpful, and I will be hanging out for some Q&A if you have any questions. I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording first.